Hey everyone, it's Don here from the board. How's it going? Today I'm doing a video which is another unboxing video, but unlike before, it's not directly related to keyboards. So, to explain what I'm doing today, I'm actually doing an unboxing of a soldering iron kit that I purchased online. Now, this video is really more aimed towards Australian viewers, as well as those who might be interested in building a keyboard but don't actually have any equipment. And what I mean by that is you don't have a soldering iron, you don't have any solder, you don't have any tools just in general, but you're looking at getting into it. Now, I've done a keyboard build before previously, but I had actually borrowed tools from my father. And in doing my research and talking with people, everybody recommends getting the Hako for most part. There's a couple of clones out there like the AUE, there's Weller stations and so on and so forth. But if you're outside the US, quite often it's very difficult to get them at an affordable price. So what kind of options do we really have? Now, in Australia, we can buy plenty of Chinese cheapies and things like that, and one source of electronic goods, at least for us here, is Jaycar Electronics. I had a look at Jaycar to see what they had, and something caught my eye, which was their soldering kits, and they offer a couple of different ones. Clicking through them, having a look at their website, I made a conscious decision to get the slightly more expensive kit because it had more things in it, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to do an unboxing, I'm going to do a quick look at what you get for the money that you pay, and obviously, later on when I actually start building my ergodox, for example, I'll be able to talk a bit more about it, my experiences using the kit and the quality of the equipment that I've got in the kit. So if you are a local and you're looking to build a keyboard, you might want to consider this. Now, this is not paid for by Jaycar. I don't work for them. I have no professional affiliation whatsoever. I'm simply sharing what I've chosen to get. So you might say, what is this kit? And let me just bring it up onto the screen. Okay, so it's the 25W Soldering Iron Starter Kit with a Digital Multimeter. And as you can see, the package contains a Digital Multimeter, a 25W soldering iron with spare tip, a desoldering tool with a spare tip, otherwise known as a solder sucker, a little tube of lead-free solder, Phillips head or a plus head screwdriver, a flat head or a minus head screwdriver, a pair of side cutters, and a pair of long nose pliers. Now, it does say there, of course, you're looking at 240 volts AC because it's from Australia, and you can see up there in the corner that it is $39.95. Now that's Australian dollars. I paid standard shipping, which was $7, not express shipping. I ordered it last Saturday, and Monday was a public holiday. It was picked and packed on Tuesday, and it arrived today at my residence, and it is Thursday. So the shipping time, relatively quick, all things considering. So let's just switch back and get rid of that for the moment. Now, it came, and the box was a lot bigger than I thought it was actually going to be. I came home and my wife was just like, yeah, your package came for you, and here it is. It's huge. So I thought that it would be a smaller box, but I think it must be because everything in it is individually packed and they've just boshed it in together. Now, as you can see, I haven't actually done anything with the package except just to scrub some postal details out on it. So here we go, cutting it open. There's my trusty box cutters, which I've had for many years now, working in retail and getting my my doctorate in boxology, which of course for those who work in retail and have to make custom sized boxes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, go work in retail. Okay, what have we got? More cardboard. Very well packed at least. And, whoa, now, I'm just going to, you can see there's a bit of card that actually gives it a name. So it seems to be a brand called the Duratech. Now, in here we have a Jaycar brochure, their latest catalog, I'm guessing, and oh wow, let's just move the box aside. There it is. It's actually a complete package. Very impressed. So there's the brand, as I said, Duratech 25W Soldering Iron Starter Kit with a digital multimeter. We've got the iron, we've got Phillips and minus flathead screwdriver. There's your solder sucker. You got a spare tip for the soldering iron. Got a tube of wire. There's your spare solder sucker wire with an O-ring, which I'm guessing is for the solder sucker so you can actually maintain a vacuum. Side cutters, nose, as well as the probe. It's pretty cool. More impressed about that than I thought it would be. The ideal starter package for young electronics enthusiasts or the home handyman. They should obviously include mechanical keyboard enthusiasts as well, maybe. This kit contains everything needed for basic electronics work. The kit includes a soldering iron, digital multimeter, and a set of hand tools suitable for working on small items such as electronic projects or automotive circuits. And of course there's the complete list with a little bit more detail. So you're looking at lead-free solder. It's a 100mm screwdriver, 75mm screwdriver, and 125mm side cutters and long nose pliers. Now, it's actually, see if I can bring that up there. It's not focusing super well, but it's distributed by Tech Brands, which is in Rydalmere, New South Wales, but obviously, as a lot of products are, it is a made in China. Let's check it out. Let's crack it open. Now, in this kit, I actually already have side cutters. I don't really have any long needle nose pliers lying around. I think I do have some in some other kits that I've got, but I've never really had to use it for keyboards at the moment. You might ask, why did I get this rather than just a soldering iron? I felt having the digital multimeter would actually be really useful, because especially if you do a hand wire build, having the multimeter allows you to check a variety of things, like if you've got good soldered contact or if you've got any sort of, you know, parts that aren't connected and conducting properly. And the other reason is I actually have a Philco Magis Touch 1 that I've lent to a friend that has burnt, damaged traces in it, and I'm actually getting it back from them because they haven't taken the time out to do the jump themselves. So I'm going to attempt to repair it myself and jump the traces with some wires and do the bridging. And obviously, in order for that to work, I'm going to need a multimeter to check that it actually works. What actually both the website and what that packaging doesn't say is that it actually has a little soldering stand, which is what this black thing is. It's just a bit of flat metal with a sort of a crescent that's punched out of it that you bend up, and that will actually hold your soldering iron. So they've actually heat pressed this packaging so it stays together, which is a little bit annoying. Cut around that, if you'll let me. Yeah, plastic versus, ooh, that was dangerous. Could just cut straight through my probes. As you can see, me and plastic packaging don't play very well together. There we go, just going to brute force that. Obviously all of these bits aren't going to live in the plastic anyway, so I might as well liberate them. Okay, take out the solder sucker. There's a multimeter, screwdriver, come on, spare tip, spare tip. Of course, I have to be completely uncoordinated while I'm on camera. There's the O-ring, cables and cord. There we go. And instructions. So it does come with a very small piece of paper that's got some, no doubt, instructions and details, and the actual multimeter, by the looks of it, also has a tech manual of sorts with it. It feels extraordinarily light, so it requires a battery, which by the feel of it, it does not come with one. Let's just crack that open and verify that. So if you do get this and you want to get started on it straight away, you might need to acquire yourself a battery, and yeah, no response. So obviously requires a battery, and it's got screw holes. So let's see, is that gonna too big? Too big, too big, too big. Screwdriver. Do I have an appropriate size screwdriver? There we go. Maybe. Is it going to reach it? Just reaches. Alright. Try not to lose the screws. What I really need to get is one of those magnetic screw tray things, I think. That's just alright, so there we go. Nice and simple. It's got two fuses in it, obviously for its protection, and in goes your 9-volt battery. Now, I actually have a 9-volt battery here. It was not intended for this purpose. It's actually the spare for my garage clicker, but I'm actually going to sacrifice it for the purpose of this video. My wife is not going to care. And I don't know if this battery is going to work because it's actually past its expiry date, so it might actually not have a lot of charge in it. I hate getting on 9-volt battery things because these clip things are shocking. Hate them. Hate them so much. Okay. Let's just tuck that baby back in. And we'll close her up. It's got some these little clips on the top, which is what was preventing me from getting it open earlier. There we go. Close it all down. Let's drop that screw back in. Firm but not over tight. You should never over tighten your screws, especially if it's plastic. It's just going to strip it, and then you're going to have a bad time. Okay. So let's go to resistance. Well, we have power. Fantastic. It's even got diode test in, so 200 ohms. Let's get my probes. Man, I haven't played with one of these things in years. At least not the plastic ones. My dad has an analog multimeter, so I'm very used to having the old sweet arm type. Whereas in school, at uni, we had these fang-dangled electronic ones. Okay, let's see. Not helping me very much. 5 milliamp resistance. Ground com. I probably should read the manual, but what the heck. Yeah, maybe I should read the manual before I kill my new toy, shall we say. Red connector to the 5 amp jack, and then black connector to... Okay, so it does go into 4 and 5, unless if you're checking 5 amp. Excellent. And I was right in that it's red top and black bottom. So it's reading 1, which means it's infinite resistance, and if we contact, we should get down fairly close to 0. Oh, alright, so these leads do offer quite a bit of resistance, about half ohm or so. Now if I pick up a switch, here's an MX, oh, where's the camera? There it is, there's an MX black right there, and I put them across, if I can manage it, the contacts. Just, there we go. Oh, I'm blocking the multimeter, so it's reading 0, and then now, as I depress, you can see the resistance drops down to about, yeah, just about 1 and a bit, just under 1 ohm. There we go, down to 0.6. So pretty close 0.5 to what the probes were measuring natively. There is no zero function on this, so you'll have to obviously take that into account if you were using this for any semblance of accurate measurements. What I am noticing though is it's very slow in its response. So I would not anticipate that you would use this cheap multimeter for any sensitive purposes, but hey, at least it's better than nothing. So we'll just leave that, and we'll move that off the table. Durotech. Now, you might ask, 25 watt sounds kind of low. I was previously soldering using a 60 watt when I built my GH60, and 60 watts way too hot. Way too hot. I have spoken to some other people at work who've done a lot of soldering and electronic work, and they've told me that you want around a 25-30 watt for most small electronics because it's a good controllable wattage if you don't have variable temperature or variable wattage. 60 is generally quite hot for electronic work, so I'm more than happy to see that this is a 25 watter. Now, I'm not going to plug this in and test it simply because I don't have anything to solder and it's just going to make fumes in the office that I have here at the moment, but it does give you some basic instructions on how to use it, which is pretty cool. Just like a little diagram as well on how to solder. The other thing is, when you use a lower temperature or a lower wattage iron, you reduce the likelihood that you're actually going to damage whatever it is you're soldering. So you're not applying as much heat, so if you leave that soldering iron and the tip on the pad a little bit longer than you should, you're less likely to burn that out compared to if you're using a lot more heat and a lot more wattage. Okay, and so that's the holder, which, yeah, I don't really want to bend it fully up yet because I'm not using it, but essentially if you bend that up, then that would sit on it like that, just at a high angle, probably even more like that, something like that, which is pretty cool. And there's your spare tip. Now, it's meant to be a 0.5 tip, but it looks definitely fatter than 0.5. However, it is fine enough, obviously, to be able to solder switches onto a PCB or even hand wiring. And this is our solder sucker. So for those who've never used it before, you essentially depress that, and upon release, it generates a vacuum and sucks any hot solder. So you would charge it one hand, you would heat up the solder with the other, and then when you're ready, pop, there it goes, and it sucks up the solder. And yeah, it's going to get clogged, it might even melt a little bit of it, so on and so forth. And what you do is you would, it's pretty tight, but you want it to be tight so it generates a good vacuum. I'm not going to try and look silly and force that at the moment, but yeah, they do give you that spare tip. and the O-ring, of course, to go with it. So that's pretty cool. And then you've got some lead-free, reasonable size tin. Just have to pop the cap off, pull it through, and then pop the cap back on. Plenty enough to do at least 1-2 keyboards, depending obviously how experienced you are in soldering. So there you go. I guess we'll just finish off and have a look at these pliers. Spring-loaded, fairly cheap little things, I suppose. Nothing major. The rubberized grip feels a little bit oily, but that's probably the plastic sweating because it's been in packaging. The cutters, bouncy, good response. Let me see what I can try cutting. Anything. What have I got here? There's a bit of 3D filament from my printer. That's just a bit of an offcut. So we'll just, yep. Cuts pretty clean. Edge feels relatively sharp. So no complaints. And there you go. Now, I haven't been paid for any of this. I've put my own money into it, obviously. I hope it's going to perform because I couldn't really afford to buy a Hakko. A Hakko in Australia, if you buy a genuine from an authorized dealer, you're looking at, if you're lucky, you can get around 120, 130 on special plus post. Currently, it's sitting around 180 plus post Australian. But hey, what are you going to do about it? I don't do that much soldering for me to really justify to buying one at the moment, so that's why I kind of went with this kit. And for 40 bucks, hey, you know, if the soldering iron's no good, I've at least got a solder sucker, I've got a couple of tools, I've got a tube of, you know, solder, and I'm a little bit wiser for it. Now, of course, if you're thinking of getting into building, you can wait to see how I go with this kit and then me talking about my experiences using this kit. Otherwise, if you were looking to get some cheap gear to get into it, to try it out, then most likely 40 bucks is not going to break your bank, especially if you're going to be spending a couple of $100 on a kit with parts anyway. And yeah, if you do upgrade in the future, like I hope to maybe one day, then this is either going to be really good for a backup, or I could potentially pass it on to somebody else if, say, you know, I went to a meet and said, look, here's a cheapy set, it'll do the job, but at least it'll get somebody off to a start. So that pretty much concludes the unboxing and the initial quick overview of this 25 watt soldering iron starter kit. It does contain that digital multimeter. I would like to, of course, remind everybody that we do have the board podcast series, which you can find at www.theboardpodcast.com. We have got episodes going all the way back from August last year, and we'll be continuing to put on content, interviews, and so on and so forth. And if you'd like to obviously support us, we do have a Redbubble site which has t-shirts, stickers, pouches, pillows, whatever you feel like getting as part of their range of goods. And all of this stuff that we do, especially because we have hosting, so our content is always available for you. It does come at a cost, which we currently obviously pay out of our pocket. If you feel like donating and helping us and supporting us along because you like what we do, then we would also appreciate that too. And you can find our donation link either here on the YouTube channel in the link section, or you can find our link on our podcast website too. So that's pretty much it for today. And being cliched like every other YouTube channel out there, if you like this video, then please like the video, press that like button. And if you like our content, you'd like to see more and keep up with us, then hit our subscribe button. And of course, share it with your friends and just get the word out there. Hopefully in the future we'll have more reviews as we improve our presence. We might be able to get some demo boards from different manufacturers and so on and so forth. Of course, failing that, over time as we acquire our own boards that we're interested in, or keycaps or key sets and so forth, then we'll also put them up here too. So, until next time, happy clacking.